So I make tabbouleh once in a while when we want to change from Caesar salad or garden salad. So here's a list of ingredients: 2 large bunches of parsley, half a cup bulgur or Burgol number 2, 2 medium tomatoes, half a medium sweet onion, a third of a cup extra virgin olive oil, half a tablespoon of crushed garlic, 1 small English cucumber, 1 teaspoon of fine sea salt, juice of 1 lemon. I only had a small lemon in this case. And for gluten-free, you can use quinoa in place of the bulgur. So the bulgur is the traditional ingredient. Here you can see the brand that I happen to buy this time, and you'll see it's pronounced differently, Burgol number 2, which is a medium grind, pre-cooked cracked wheat. So you don't really have to cook it. What I do is I bring it up to a simmer, the water, and I just pour it in, turn the stove off, and let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes. Generally 10 minutes is good enough, but sometimes 15 will make it a little more tender. So I'll start making my ingredients ready. 1 small English cucumber. If you use a large one, you can cut it in half or use 3/4 of it. Anyway, what I do is I slice I trim it off. Some people do leave the green on, but I prefer it off. And to keep the water content low on this salad, I like to take the seeds out as well. So you'll see I cut first in half and then down the center of each half. And the reason why you take the seeds out, there's a lot of water content in the seeds. So by taking it out, you're going to not have such a soggy salad in the end. So you'll see I just go with a spoon and go down the center, and you can already see all the water coming out. So not that cucumbers are dry, but you're going to help to reduce some of the water content in your salad. So some people will soak their tomatoes and cucumbers, if they even use cucumbers, in a bit of salt beforehand to kind of extract some of the water. But I don't know. I sometimes that salt sticks around if you don't rinse it off enough, and I don't want to over salt my salad. So do this step if you want. Take the seeds out, and then we'll go from there. So here you see I have a one of those slap choppers, or this one's from Pantry Chef, but I use it quite a bit to save time instead of cutting by hand. It doesn't work for everything. For these ingredients it does work well, so that's the reason I use it. And I just give it a couple of good whacks there, and it does a good job of saving time and cutting up a lot of these ingredients into small, cubing them basically. So I just go through and do my cucumber first. Now you see the lemon off to the side there. I only had a small lemon. Usually I use a larger lemon. So the salad turned out, it could have been a little more acidic, but I do have a backup bottle of lemon juice, real lemon brand, so I added a little bit at the end, but typically use 1 large lemon for your juice. So we'll finish off doing the cucumber here, and then we'll move to the tomato. I just cut them in half, and then half again into quarters. And I do the same thing. I take a spoon, and I take the seeds out, which again reduces a lot of the water content. You don't have to do this, but I find it gives a good end result. So just take a spoon, scoop it out. Now the traditional ingredient list for tabbouleh doesn't necessarily have cucumber in it, but I do like the texture and the crunch and the flavor of cucumber in this salad. It works well. A lot of recipes use mint as well, so you could add dry mint or fresh mint. I don't care for too much mint flavor in this salad, but once in a while I will add some dry mint, but I just didn't have it on hand this time. But I don't think it's essential that you add mint. So there you see, you could do it by hand. If you have overripe tomatoes, it's not going to work well in that chopper. So you can do it by hand and just cube them. Okay, so I have half of a sweet onion. You could use a cooking onion, which has a stronger flavor. I like that sweet onion is not pronounced in the salad. It is pretty mild flavor. So we'll give that a good chop and put it in, both halves, or quarters I should say. So you could use Vidalia. These were a different type of sweet onion, but again, it's not a strong onion flavor. Some people use green onions, but this tends to, all the pieces are pretty much the same, and there's a level of consistency across the board when you have all your ingredients together in that bowl. So now we'll process our flat leaf parsley. Now you could use curly leaf. I just happen to have flat leaf this time, and I don't prefer one or the other. It doesn't really matter. Now there's a lot of flavor in the stems, so don't omit the stems. That's a main part of the salad. You'll see that it chops up really well. And scoop it, use a bench scraper or whatever you need to do to bring it into the bowl there. And just keep going. It's a salad that takes a little more time. It's not something maybe you make every day, but it's a really nice change from your typical salads, and has a nice flavor. So the stems are really easy to chop up in that chopper. Now when you move on to the leaf part, what tends to happen is with this device is you won't see it. You'll see it coming up. What I do is I just cut around the base of the chopper, just so all the leaves are inside and get a good chop. So finish off your stems, and here you see the leaves. And of course you make quite a mess when you make this salad. So I just take the knife and just run it around the edge so everything's inside to be chopped. Okay, give it a good chop. Makes lots of noise in the house. People wonder what's going on. Dog is looking at you weird. Alright, so we'll finish off. I'll do a couple more chops here, cut off the edges. So curly leaf parsley will give you a little more body to a little more springiness to the end result. The flat leaf is more, well, flat basically, but here's your bulgur. It's been drained, so it's nice and tender. It's similar to quinoa, similar in flavor and texture. Obviously it has gluten in it. It's a cracked wheat, so put all your ingredients in together. Give it a good stir. Get it all combined. You can add more or less of tomatoes, cucumber, depends what you like. This recipe is kind of tried and true for me. It works well, so that's why I stick with those amounts. So your next step is to get your oil, 1/3 of a cup of extra virgin olive oil. And again, we have a small lemon here, which is not going to give me a lot of juice, but you work with what you have at the time. So just ream that out. Of course, a couple of seeds are falling in there, but we'll get those out, no problem. Now the garlic I use is roasted garlic that I mashed basically and added oil to, and I keep it in the fridge, so I always have a little bit of that on hand. You could just use fresh garlic and crush it up finely. Even fermented garlic, I sometimes use that as well. Even garlic powder, but you know, this gives it a bit of texture too, to have little chunks of garlic in there. So I think I have one little stray seed. But give it a good mix before you pour it over the salad. You could use other types of oil. I choose to use olive oil. It doesn't have a strong flavor, and it goes well. Okay, so just pour it over. Get a spatula and scrape it out. You'll get the odd stem here and there, but it's not a problem. Everything is pretty tender. You want to use nice fresh parsley. You don't want it limp or sitting in the fridge for a week. All these ingredients are nice and fresh, and that's the whole point of tabbouleh. It's a nice fresh zesty salad, kind of with the acidic flavor in there as well. So cover this up. I generally put in the fridge for an hour or a little bit more, just for the flavors to come together, but that's what it looks like in the end. So yeah, serve after an hour. You could serve right away. Thanks for watching, everyone. Appreciate it, and stay tuned for the next one. Bye for now.